On Thursday, September 1st, 2022, at about 8 p.m., our glorious, uniting, super fit, and very cognitively powerful president gave a marvelous speech that was just so uniting, so accurate, and just exactly what this country needed to be able to boost morale and move forward in the right direction. It was just so good that I just want to come on here and just re-show it and just point out all the glorious moments. This definitely is the best president and best administration we have ever had. So without further ado, let's get into it.
My fellow Americans, please, if you have a seat, take it. I speak to you tonight from sacred ground in America, Independence Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is where America made its Declaration of Independence to the world.
All right, I want to stop it right there because it's already so glorious. First off, just look at that red, satanic, blood-colored background. That's definitely usually something that represents good and peace and, positivity, right? I think so. Second, look at those two Marines standing there. Ooh, nice and ominously. You can't really see them other than their gloves. Whew, that doesn't represent anything such as, I got force behind me, so do as I say or do as I wish, or else I will execute force against you. No, that's just two Marines just standing there, On a less sarcastic note, I do feel pretty terrible for those Marines. God, imagine working your way up through the military. You become a Marine. Like, Marines are pretty prestigious. Imagine you become a Marine just so that way then you can serve under this dickhead. Ugh, and then imagine you're one of these two. Oh my God. It's like you get to the highest point of your life, but at the same time it's your lowest. Like, what a weird contradictory moment. There's no way that either of those guys is feeling proud or happy to be standing there ominously in the shadows behind this loser while he gives a fantastic speech. Like, ugh. I feel bad for those guys. The other thing that I find kind of amusing as well is he is, kind of trying to put that threat out there. He's using this backdrop and put those guys back there. Ooh, I got the military behind me. I'm the commander-in-chief. But it's like, at the end of the day, if push came to shove and there was going to be some weird, civil war of, the government versus the people, do you really think the military would fight against the people? I highly doubt it. Because at the end of the day, they're people as well. They're citizens of this country as well. They have their own beliefs and everything. I don't think they're just going to go and kill civilians because, this loser commands it. You're trying to act like you got power behind you, but do you? I don't know. If push came to shove, I'd say no. I mean, basically being in the military, that's just those people's job, So, it's not like you have any kind of blood oath or anything, like you're in the mob, and you gotta do it, otherwise Biden will kill you. No, it's like, nah, I'm not doing that. Fuck you. But anyway, that was one thing. Another thing I want to point out about this backdrop is it looks awfully familiar. It kind of looks something like this.
The end of a regime that acquiesces to disorder. At this very moment, in a system far from here, the new republic upon which we stand will bring an end to the Senate, to their cherished fleet, all to the First Order, and will remember this as the last day of the Republic.
Yeah, and if I recall correctly, that speech there was based on a speech given by a certain German chancellor who was actually so awesome and such a good guy that, kind of like in sports, they retired his last name. So that's definitely the vibe you want to have when you're giving a speech to your country. Also, we got to say, God, for the guy that got 81 million votes and is easily the most popular president in history, I mean, you can tell by his crowd. Oh my God, that's so sold out. I mean, how are all those people fitting there? They've got to be standing on each other's shoulders. I mean, let's go back and take a look at that. Look at that crowd. I mean, how are those people? How do they fit the chairs? How do they fit all those people? That's practically the whole country right there. This guy definitely is super popular. I mean, it's nothing like the other guy. I mean, let's see what kind of crappy crowd he gathers. Yeah, now clearly this guy is super unpopular. I mean, obviously he would have lost. He's got like no supporters here. Nobody's pumped up and excited to see him. Nobody's cheering for him. Nobody's feeling like, super patriotic and, pumped for their country and pumped for their former leader. Like, totally this guy lost. Clearly the one we have now is the obvious winner. He obviously got the 81 million votes, fair and square. Obviously 81 million people wanted him. You can tell by his arenas. Not this guy. All right, let's just carry on with this absolute gold mine of a dime piece. We don't need to see the other guy. He lost. Obviously nobody supports him. This is where it's at.
More than 2 centuries ago, with an idea unique among nations, that in America, we're all created equal. This is where the United States Constitution was written and debated. This is where we set in motion the most extraordinary experiment of self-government the world has ever known. With 3 simple words: we the people. We the people. These 2 documents and the ideas they embody, equality and democracy, are the rock upon which this nation is built.
All right, buddy boy, you're hitting all those key points. So first off, you're right. Yeah, it is we the people. But you know what the we the people actually means? It means the actual citizens. It doesn't mean big government. It means as little government as possible, with just enough to create laws and regulations to keep the masses in a civilized order. But at the end of the day, it's the mass that's the we the people. But it's funny because your party, the Democrats, you guys always seem to forget that. You think that it's all about you and what you want. And it doesn't matter what the masses think. You're going to force your own will because you want to be tyrannical, I guess. So it's good that you're brushing up on your Constitution just so that you can, kind of do your job right. Not like you're not already killing it or anything. We wanted super high inflation. We definitely want this green energy push. We want open borders. We want tons of non-nationals in this country. That way then we can support them on welfare and other aid that comes out of our taxes. We don't want to put that into our country. We don't want to put it into our futures or our children's future. We want to put it into people that don't belong here. So keep that up. That's on the right track. And yes, we also really love that both you and your VP cannot speak for the life of you and cannot give any kind of proper speech or be unifying it at all. You guys are doing a fantastic job. So I don't need to tell you about the Constitution. You obviously already know all about it. But I just thought I could add some input to your video. Also, I like those constant little coughs. I'm glad that you chose to put on a speech as the president in front of everybody and just weren't prepared to have your throat cleared yet. It's pretty awesome to see that like a regular citizen, you clear your throat also. A little bit more than we do, but I guess you're just trying to show us like, hey, even as president, I can still clear my throat a lot. And I also like how you bring up, everybody's created equal, because it's very fantastic how, you Democrats have been just way over embracing that. Anybody can be anything now. We don't need to be in reality because everybody's created equal, right? You can say that you're a tree and your pronouns are leaf, acorn, and branch, and hey, it's fair game, right? So you're right. Everybody must be created equal, right? Which also means, since everybody was created and everybody's equal, that means all these severe mental health issues that are plaguing this country don't count. Because it's just part of the equality. Everybody's got a mental illness, apparently. Or that's just how you're supposed to be. So you're normal, right? I mean, if you want to say that you're they, which is a plural word, it usually means a group. Oh, them over there. They said this. 2, 3, 4, 5 people are usually they. But now if a person wants to say that they're the hey, I'm the they, my pronouns are they, them, then yeah, right? Because everyone's equal. Also, one last thing, buddy boy, before I let you talk again. Don't worry, you can go when I'm done. You keep seeing you keep saying these two great documents that this nation is built on. I know what you're talking about, but do you? I have a feeling you probably don't, because you seem to think that America is summed up in one word, which is like esafetamina. So I highly doubt that you actually know what documents you're talking about. So I'll just give you a little help right here. You're talking about the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, which, again, you might not know when they were written and stuff. So the Declaration of Independence, that was 1776. And the Constitution, that was 1783. Just helping you out, just in case you need that info.
They're how we became the greatest nation on earth. They're why, for more than 2 centuries, America has been a beacon to the world. But as I stand here tonight, equality and democracy are under assault. We do ourselves no favor to pretend otherwise. So tonight, I've come to this place where it all began to speak as plainly as I can.
All right, let me help you out again. I know you're getting confused. So you say that democracy and whatever the other thing was you said are under attack. Well, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that it's Republicans that are the problem. But here's the thing. They're not. Let's just do a quick look at some states, okay? We have California, which is a blue state, led by Newsom. And then you have Florida, which is a red state, run by Ron DeSantis. Look at the two contrasts, okay? Tell me which side seems more problematic. Is it the side that everybody is super happy about, that a lot of people are leaving their state to go to, that the leader they're hoping will run for president? Or is it the side that the state is falling apart badly? Crime is rampant, homelessness is rampant, nobody has any values or morals because anything's fair game. You can be an it if you want. You can be a they them. You can make up some weird thing and say that's what you are. Children can be groomed by pedos and or drag queens because apparently that's cool. Which side sounds better? Which side sounds like a more stable society and living circumstance? If you picked the first option, then you would be correct, which that would be Florida, which is run by Republican Ron DeSantis. I don't think anyone would ever choose option 2 if it was laid out like that, because it just does not sound like a nice place to be. It's like a weird video game where everything's terrible, but it's okay in a video game because it's not real life. This would be real life. You don't want that. Yeah. So it's not, you're right, there is an attack, and it's not the side that you're going to claim. Additionally, your team wants to basically try to become tyrants. You want to make it, Your end goal, if you could, would be to make it so that there was no opposition party and it's just you. Well, you know what that becomes? That becomes a monarchy. That becomes a tyrannical state, such as Syria, such as Cuba, Venezuela, such as North Korea. We're not trying to be that. You want to have democracy, then you need to have your two sides or more. I mean, we only have the two sides that are really big, but more would be even better. Then there's more ideas flowing, there's more options flowing, there's more everything, not just one, which is what your team wants. Your team wants to be constantly in command, constantly in power, constantly trying to shove your ideas down everyone's throats. And unfortunately for you, that's really not how majority of the country thinks. Although, I mean, yep, you did dominate and get those 81 million votes. You absolutely did. You know, all those dead people that voted for you, they count. You know, each dead person that voted for you 6 times, you know, their 6 votes counted, even though they never actually made it to the ballots. But they still count. And, you know, the other people that were able to vote for you 2-3 times, and, you know, the illegals that aren't even documented citizens, but they were able to vote too, because that's how it works, right? Anybody can vote. So yeah, just trying to keep your facts straight, because I know you forget sometimes. You don't have dementia. You just have extreme memory impairment issues. So, you know, just helping you out.
The nation, about the threats we face, about the power we have in our own hands to meet these threats, and about the incredible future that lies in front of us if only we choose it. We must never forget, we the people are the true heirs of the American experiment.
Okay, you say if we choose it? Well, I guess some bad news for you, but great news for the country. I'm pretty sure most of the people are going to choose it come November. I mean, it is end of September right now. We got, 44 days left? And I'm pretty sure the choice is going to be red. Which means you're going to become a lame duck president, which is completely fine because you've been absolutely phenomenal in the past 2 years that you've had full power over the House and Senate. So, you know, you won't really be a lame duck since you dominated so much. Again, with that incredible inflation, the stock market just plummeting daily, you know, this nonsense giving billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine, wide open borders, liberal ideologies being pushed hardcore, the green energy nonsense. It's all been super good. So, I mean, you already have an incredible legacy. You have nothing to worry about. But yeah, that red wave is coming and it's going to wash you guys right out. So, you're right. We do have the power and we're going to pick it. I mean, you're talking to about 20,000 people right now where Trump talks to about 20 million people. So, I mean, what do you think's going to happen, bro? Let's be real. And then this speech that you're giving right now is just fantastic. And those 20,000 are probably going to be cut down in half to 10,000 if they actually open their minds and realize, hold on a minute, what is going on here? I don't want to be on this team. But anyways, yes. So I think people are going to pick it. Actually, I know they're going to pick it. And it's not the way that you're thinking. So sorry, bro.
That began more than 2 centuries ago. We, the people, have burning inside of each of us the flame of liberty.
I don't want to interrupt too much. I do want this video to play enough, and then I can add in commentary afterwards. But you keep saying we the people, and it's making me mad because you're acting... You shouldn't be taking possession of that. You are not part of the we the people. You're the president. You're above. I don't want to say you're above the we the people, but you're excluded from that. We the people are all the commoners, all the regular people, like all those people you're talking to right now, all the people that go to Trump rallies, me, anybody that actually watches this video. We are we the people, not you. You're one of the ones in government that the we the people statute was designed for to limit the power of. So stop saying we the people. You're not part of we the people. Additionally, you have been in politics for so dang long that you haven't been one of the we the people for so dang long. So stop it. You don't even know what it's like to be a we the people. I mean, you have a ridiculously corrupt son. Ridiculously. I mean, you yourself are ridiculously corrupt. And yet, because of your long-term tenure being a terrible politician, all of this nonsense is able to constantly be covered up. Constantly. Anybody else... If you were an average person, you would be in jail, your son would be in jail, your daughter would be in jail, basically your whole family would be in jail, and all your friends. Pelosi, she'd be in jail for insider trading. Her husband, he'd be in jail for DUI and causing that accident. Didn't he kill somebody in that accident, if I'm not mistaken? And what did he get, 2 days in jail? Are you kidding me right now? Your Clinton cronies, they'd been in jail a long time ago. But no, you have an insanely corrupt system around your democratic sphere, and it helps you and all your cronies get away with all the nonsense you do. So stop saying we the people, because you're not one of the we the people. Anybody else did a fraction of what you do, we'd be spending life in jail. You get to do all this stuff and continuously do it. Keep being a creep, sniffing kids, being weird to kids. I mean, geez, you just told a story the other day about very, very uncomfortable too. You're like predatory towards this woman. You stop talking to look at her and say, hey, say hi to me. And it's like, this girl's probably like, no, I'm traumatized by what you did to me before, because you said, oh, she was 12 and I was 30.
Guess what? We got a lot to do. You gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway, this woman helped me get an awful lot done. Anyway.
Like, what the fuck? A 30-year-old should not ever be hanging out with or near a 12-year-old unless A, you're a teacher and that's your student, or B, it's a family member, like your niece or nephew or child even. I mean, I guess 30 would be a bit young to have a 12-year-old, but I guess it could happen. But yeah, like, you are not a we the people, so stop it.
That was lit here at Independence Hall. A flame that lit our way through abolition, the Civil War, suffrage, the Great Depression, world wars, civil rights. That sacred flame still burns. Now in our time, as we build an America that is more prosperous, free, and just. That is the work of my presidency.
Bro. I know you got a lot going on, because you're the president and you have to run an entire country. I always imagine just being a governor is a lot of work and you're only running a state. So when you're running a whole country, geez, that's a whole other level. But, we gotta keep some things in mind here. You said prosperous and free? Yeah, I don't know so much about either one of those, because as long as you've been in control, or I should say your whole party, your crew, free? I don't know. When COVID was a big thing back in 2020 and 2021, you were trying to force COVID mandates on basically everything. And the people who didn't want to get the vaccine, their option was, well, you can lose your job then. So, I don't know about free. That doesn't sound too free if you're being forced to get something that you don't want. When is that ever the definition of free? And then prosperous? I don't know what you're talking about there. First off, stock market is plummeting like nobody's business. What is it? The Dow or the S&W? I forget which one. But it is now sitting under 29,000 points. And that is a steady drop. It was just a little over 30,000 not that long ago. Maybe, a week ago at this point? And now we're at 29,000. It's just constantly falling. So I don't know what you're talking about prosperous. Another thing about prosperous, where are you getting prosperous from when we're at 8.4% inflation and everything is so ridiculously expensive? That ain't prosperous at all. Housing prices are ridiculously astronomical. I mean, I saw a picture of a side-by-side comparison of the same exact house that a few years back it went for $500,000 and the monthly payment was like $1,600 a month. Same exact house nowadays is $495,000, so technically a smidge less, but the mortgage was double. It was like $2,675 a month. That doesn't sound prosperous when maybe for the banks, but not for a regular citizen. And I would happily show this, but it's obviously a bit private, but I have a little portfolio that I've been working on for the past couple of years. And it always saw very steady growth. It was actually doing very well for a little bit. It was kind of exciting. And yeah, ever since you took over, that thing's basically flatlined. I add to it every single week, and basically my balance is constantly the same. So what's that telling you? That's telling you that the market is doing terrible. I am losing money, but because I keep depositing money, I'm basically just flatlining. The money I lose, I'm basically putting back in with my weekly deposit. It wasn't like that before. I was seeing a lot of growth because A, my deposits, and B, the market was doing well. So I was getting dividends, which was giving me returns, which would then get reinvested. I was making money. So yeah, you're way off on the prosperous thing here, bro. Between inflation and and let's not forget gas prices either. I know you happily take the credit now that gas prices are slightly going down. Mind you, though, they're still not fantastic. I know you like to say, "Oh, gas is." Well, you actually think the whole country's under under $2.99, but it's not. Nowhere actually is under $2.99 yet. So way to have the wrong figures. Which, as president, you'd think you'd know that. That's weird. I mean, you'd have oversight of the whole country. So why is that a regular person like me knows that nowhere is paying under $2.99 yet, but you don't know? It's kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, even in my area, the cheapest I know of is $3.35, which, yeah, that's way better than when it was $4.99. That was ridiculous. But I mean, let's not forget the other guy, the guy that clearly nobody likes and obvious that he lost the election. He had gas down to $1.95 a gallon. So, I mean, don't get too excited about the $3.35. I also like how you'll take credit for it being $3.35 now, but when it was going up, you didn't want to take any blame for that. It was all Putin. Oh, Putin's war, causing inflation, causing gas prices to go up. Yeah. But then as soon as gas goes down, that's all you, right? Wouldn't that be Putin then? If Putin was to blame for it going up, wouldn't he be the one to get the credit for the prices going down? Because clearly you can't do anything about it, right? That's why they went up. But yeah, so you might want to hold off on your words prosperous and free because we're not very prosperous at all. I mean, we're not very prosperous at all right now. And free, I mean, people are fighting hard to maintain their freedoms. If it's up to you guys, you blue cronies, you'd strip as much away as you can. So don't go throwing around words like that you don't actually mean, okay? You're supposed to be the leader. At least tell the truth. I know you guys never do, but don't be this obvious in your lies. Like, come on. We're all living it. We know what you're saying is not accurate at all.
A mission I believe in with my whole soul. But first, we must be honest with each other.
Sorry, dickbag, I gotta stop you there. You said that's a mission that you believe in with your whole soul about the prosperity and all that? No, you absolutely don't. You were quick and overly eager and willing to let people lose their jobs because they didn't want to get that stupid Fauci jab. And as far as anything tanking, you don't care because you get a cut. You send all this money to Ukraine, but you're somehow still getting a cut out of this because of your crooked ways. I mean, you're doing just fine. The Democrats are doing just fine. Look at Pelosi with all their insider trading. Like, these values mean nothing to you. You don't care. And you wouldn't be pushing this stupid Green Deal if you did care. Because, A, you would have kept the Keystone Pipeline open. That would have created a lot of good-paying jobs. And it would have given us fuel independency, which would, in turn, give us super cheap gas. Things would be fantastic. But no, you're an idiot. And you ruin things just because, Trump did it, so it's no good. And you just don't care enough. Because, I don't know why you hate Trump so much, but even if he is that terrible, like you think, and he's not, if he has good policies that are good for the country, leave him. Who cares if it's made by somebody that you don't like? He did something good. Deal with it. Just accept it and move on. You don't have to like the guy to like some good changes he made. Nope. You had to undo everything. Ruin the country. Absolutely. He fixed the country. And you completely destroyed it, which is ironic because you always say build back better. Which, how do you build back? Well, you build back after you destroy something. So I guess that's been the plan all along. We just didn't realize. We thought you meant that Trump had it destroyed and you were going to fix it, which we knew wasn't true. Trump had it great, but now it makes sense. Oh, you had to completely destroy it to be able to build back. But then build back better. No, you're building back absolutely worse. It is not better by any means at all. And then there's another thing to think about too. how you want to go all green with the vehicles and stuff. There's a lot to say about that, but that's not what I'm getting into right now. What I am going to get into is our money is backed by nothing except for foreign oil. That's what backs our money. That's kind of what the whole situation was during the Bush presidency when we were over in the Middle East. It was because the Middle East, I don't know, there was some kind of skirmish going on. They didn't want to supply us with oil or something weird, and it would have affected our currency badly. So we had to create that war and stage 9/11 and all this. That way then we had a means to get over there and be like, yo, you ain't doing this to us because this is what our money's backed by. So with your dumb plan of going green, what happens to our money then? I mean, I would think inflation would have to extremely skyrocket then, right? Because we'd be backing it by nothing at that point. And then our money becomes completely worthless. So then what's the game plan? What's it going to be backed by then? Battery industries? I don't know. You guys do not have a solid plan. Or you do, and it's just a plan to really screw over the average citizen.
With ourselves. Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal.
You know, you're absolutely 100% right there. Unfortunately, I know that you're not talking about it in the right way, but you're right. A lot of stuff isn't normal right now. You know, all these people walking around with, I'm not going to gender affirm my child. It's going to be a baby for now. And then it can choose what it wants to be when it gets older. Like, how insulting to your kid to call it an it. Seriously, the baby's an it when it's a zygote and you don't know what the gender is yet. You have two options, but nope. There goes option number 2 of what's not normal. People saying they're non-binary. Like, what the F? You are not non-binary. That is not a thing. There's 2 options on every living thing. There's the male option and the female option. There's no weird in between. I mean, okay, fine. Technically there could be. There's hermaphrodites. But there's a name for that. It's called hermaphrodite. And it's actual evidence. It's real. All these people out there call themselves non-binary. It's all in their head. Which, why do we have this? We have this because of this last generation of everybody getting participation awards and trophies for anything. Oh, you didn't even try at all and you suck. But here's a trophy. And these kids not getting beaten anymore by the belt and stuff because, oh, that's child abuse. You know, a form of punishment that's been going on for hundreds of years. Now all of a sudden it's child abuse. And yeah, now these kids getting away with everything. Oh, cool. I can act like a total dickhole. My parents can't punish me. I get rewarded for doing nothing, and now there's no major things going on in the world. You know, like back in the 50s, people were super normal and just cool. We came out of World War II. People were getting over that. Like, oh my God, that was a big thing. And then they just want to live their life just as normal civilians. We don't have anything like that. So now you got these stupid kids that are older now. They're adults, young 20s, and they're coming up with weird problems. Oh, you called me she. I'm not a she. I'm an it. I'm non-binary. Like you said, it's not normal. But for some reason, your team wants to push that stuff as if it is normal, and we're supposed to accept that. And what? Like, no thank you. I'd like to live in a normal, sane world, not a world where it's like, I don't know what's going on, and I gotta ask everybody 25,000 questions before I can even ask them a normal question. Like, okay, what's your name? What do you identify? Whatever your pronouns. What are you this? What are you that? What are you this? What are you that? Okay, now what did you want to do today? No. I want to be able to look at somebody like, oh, look at him. What's up, bro? No, oh, are you a boy? Oh, you're not? I'm sorry. Which, I'm never going to do that. I mean, I'm just making an example here, but I'm just saying. What else is not normal? Oh, yes, the drag queens all the time. God, I've always thought they were disgusting to begin with, and now, for some reason, they're becoming a thing, and they're hanging out in schools, and what the F is going on? And then pedos being normalized, calling, oh, we shouldn't call them pedos, they're maps. They're minor attracted people. Like, what? No, we can keep calling them pedos. Make it sound even worse. Maybe somebody that's, what did they used to call them before pedos? Because even pedo is like a weakened version now. Back in the day, they were called, like, what? Child fuckers or something? Something that was very vile, and it was just like, ugh, that's what you are? Now, maps. Oh, we want to call them a map. Something that sounds sweet. Oh, we're taking a road trip. Did you bring your map? Ugh. So, yeah. Dickhole, you're right. things are very not normal right now. I mean, look, we even have a president who has raging Alzheimer's, completely destroying the country. Like, this is probably the worst it's ever been, ever. And, yeah. But I know that's not what you're going to say. You're going to try to blame it on Republicans or somehow the problem, which is insane considering that they are sane and your team is not. But let's hear it anyways.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
Yep, and just as I predicted, there it was. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. Well, you got to see me for this one, because I'm not just going to talk behind you. It's a little bit more significant, severe, intense of a claim and something to discuss. So, clearly, buddy boy, you don't understand what MAGA is all about. So, first off, what does MAGA stand for? MAGA, Make America Great Again. That is nothing wrong right there. You're acting like it's NAZI or something. Like, no, it's MAGA, Make America Great Again. You know how it said that? Reagan. And, like, look how popular he was and how good he was. I mean, he could have looked good because he came off of Jimmy Carter, which at the time they say was the worst president. But, you know, we got somebody who's easily taken that title over. I'm not saying who. But, yeah, it's a good thing. It's an ultra-patriotism. It's an ultra-nationalism. It's a sentiment of, hey, we want to stay out of foreign issues. We want to stay out of wars. We want to keep the money here, our tax money here, and put it into this infrastructure. You know, make our airports better, make our roads better, make our schools safer, this, that, the other thing. We want to have good border security, border patrols. We want to, well, put this country first, kind of like Trump did. Worry about this country and these citizens, not, hey, what's going on in the rest of the world? Hey, I got $100 billion. Where can I waste this? Oh, Ukraine's got an issue? Here you go, Ukraine. We didn't need that. You know, the citizens that put all this money into the system, they didn't want it to be used here. We want to give it away to whoever. Like, MAGA is a good thing. And as you saw in the first clip, well, not first clip, but way earlier, it's a super sense of country pride. These people chanting USA and pumped about Trump because that's who they want representing the country, not you. But why are MAGA Republicans bad? Because they put you and your cronies at the biggest risk of losing your power. It's not that they're a problem. They're good. It's a good thing to be a part of, if you will. But it's the biggest threat to the Democrats. If it wasn't for the MAGA Republicans, you wouldn't really hear anything about Republicans. You'd hear all this dumb leftist nonsense like always. But it's those MAGA Republicans that are putting a thorn in the side. And, yeah, you know that you're going to lose to them, so that's why you don't like them, and you want to try to vilify them. The thing is, though, is, A, who do you think you're convincing? It's not like any MAGA Republicans are there. They don't care about you. If they do check out your stuff, like me, it's just to see how much of a moron you are and see what kind of dumb crap you said, and then how you can pick it apart. And B, I mean, all of your Democrats, they're not going to... Either A, they're not going to switch teams because they're just hardcore Democrats and they're going to be like, yeah, those Republicans, they're so terrible. You get them, President. You get them, Joey. Or they're going to see the light and be like, what is wrong with this guy? Is he seriously attacking half the country? I mean, let's be real. You are. Because you got 81 million votes, with half of them being from dead people, where Trump got, what, 76 million? No air quotes needed because those would have been real votes. And, yeah. So if you take those splits, even if your 81 somehow happens to be real, which I don't want to say highly doubt because I just know it's not real. But even if it was real, that's basically almost a 50-50 split. There's 81 million for you, 76 million for him. That's off by 5 million. And so you're going to vilify all of them and act like they're so problematic? That's half the country. Like, as the president, you're supposed to be a unifier. You're supposed to be the leader. You shouldn't be attacking some of the people just because their ideas and stuff don't align with you. I know I'm attacking you because you and the Democrats and the left don't align with things that I think, but I'm also doing this in response to you because of how you are and the things you're saying and doing. And you're supposed to be the leader in the face of this country and represent us, and you're not doing any of that. You're not representing us at all. You're not being a very good leader because all you want to lead is the Democrats. That's all you care about. Ooh, this is my group. I don't know what that group is. And you're not representing, you're not being a good face of this country. You're being an embarrassment to this country. It's embarrassing to say, yeah, that's our president. You're very embarrassing. I mean, you can't even go to like a conference or anything and give a speech without getting lost when you're done. How do you get lost getting off stage?
Mr. President, thank you. At the end of such a momentous event, the word thank you seems kind of inadequate, but for all the millions whose lives will be saved, for the communities where life will be transformed, thank you. So thank you, President Biden, for your outstanding leadership.
I mean, you literally can go anywhere and it'll be fine because A, you're the fucking president. So who's going to tell you otherwise that you can't go where you want to go? I mean, if you had any kind of cognitive abilities about you, you could act like it's a play and just start playing it off. What I mean by it's a play is that's what you do in a play. If you forget your line, you do something in the meantime to make it look like you didn't forget. Like, you don't just stand there like, uh-oh, I forgot my line. You start pacing or something. Maybe scratch your head, your chin, scratch your head, and pace back and forth. Maybe bust out a little bit of a goofy dance or something. Not something that's obvious, but something a little subtle. Maybe you start like kicking around like your character's thinking about something and getting happy. And the audience isn't going to know any better. Then if your line comes back to you, boom, now you can continue. And that whole time, the audience doesn't know that you forgot because you did something to distract them while you were thinking, and they just think that that's what you were supposed to do. Same as this. If you go the wrong way and say Secret Service comes over, oh, Mr. President, you're going the wrong way. Then you just play it off, oh, I was just over here to say hi to these people. You weren't, but boom, quickly play it off, oh, I'm just here to say hi to these people. Hey, how you doing? How's everybody doing today? Shake some hands, sign some t-shirts, and carry on. And then the Secret Service don't know. You don't look like you have Alzheimer's. You look like what you did was on purpose. But in any case, like I was saying, you're the fucking president. Like, for the most part, you can probably go wherever you want. There's Secret Service in every corner. So it's not like you're going to go somewhere where they're not. And they're like, sir, we need to be near you. Like, wherever you go, they're going to be there, for one. And for two, again, what I'm trying to get at is that you're the president is you're the president. You could go to some concert if you wanted to and go backstage without backstage tickets because you're the fucking president. What are they going to tell you? Oh, you can't be back here. Really? Well, I'm just going to shut down your venue then. How do you like that? I'm the president. I can do that. Like... But you're so dumb and cognitively destroyed that you just stand there and freeze up like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? My diaper's getting full. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then people have to come over and rescue you. And it's like, wow, that is embarrassing. But yeah, back to the whole MAGA thing. They are not a problem. The problem is you Democrats. You Democrats currently destroying this country. Currently being excruciatingly corrupt, like I mentioned before about Pelosi and you and your son and your daughter and Pelosi's husband and all of them. And then all this weird nonsense you want to bring in, you know, Ketanji Brown Jackson, whatever the heck her name is, that new Supreme Court judge. Yeah, she was a terrible pick. Why? Because she's one of these idiots that can't even define a woman. Can you define what a woman is? I don't know. It can be anything. Like, hello, you, stupid. You say I am. How hard is that? But nope, we're going to get those freaks in the Supreme Court because that's what we need, right? That'll strengthen the country. That people that can't even... She can't define a woman, but you think she's going to be able to uphold the values of the Constitution, which is a much more complicated concept and document and founding piece of the country than just knowing what a woman is? Are you kidding me right now? Same as that thing, I don't know, Rachel Levine or some nonsense that you have as Secretary of, what is it, the Interior or something? I don't know, some kind of position that person definitely should not have. But, you know, let's give that to them because, oh, it makes a check mark. I got a trans woman. Or Buttigieg. Oh, I got a gay guy. Yeah, he's worthless, but you checked off a checkbox on your stupid leftist liberal nonsense. It is not the mega Republicans that you got to worry about. It's you guys. And you're trying to spin it as it's the others because you don't want to lose your power. Oh yeah, and back to what I was saying. Who do you think you're convincing? Your crowd, like I said, if anything, maybe some in your crowd will open their eyes and be like, I don't want to be on this team anymore. So if anything, you're losing your base because you need to unite people. Unite. Not separate, not destroy and push off. Get together. Make everybody feel like they're on the same team. Because they're supposed to be. We're all part of this country. Like, it's one thing to be, you can be a Democrat, but still be able to reach out to the MAGA Republicans if you do it right. But you're not. You're being ridiculously divisive, and you're always ridiculously divisive. You're always talking crap about Trump. Like, move on from that. You are the current worthless president. Like, focus on you. Focus on doing as best of a job as you can. Focus on your whole crew being as best as they can, which that never happens. You got Psaki before, and then now you have John Pierre Claude, blah, 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 some name. Check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark. Why? Because she's woman, black, and lesbian. So that's 3 check marks right there. But yeah, 2 super unqualified individuals who constantly lie. So they're even down to something like your press secretary isn't even doing a good job. And yeah, I lost my train of thought, but you get what I'm trying to get at. Like, you're just a terrible president. And you need to stop being divisive. You need to bring everybody together. You need to focus on you. Stop worrying about Donald Trump. He was the last president. Okay, he still gives speeches and stuff. But you know what? For the most part, he doesn't even talk about you unless you talk about him. So stop worrying about him. Worry about you. Worry about doing your job. Worry about doing it good. And stop saying, oh, the last guy, Donald Trump, blah, blah, this, MAGA Republicans. Don't worry about that. We're all Americans, right? You start out with my fellow Americans or something. Well, who are you talking to? If you're going to split out half of us, are you talking to just that crowd right in front of you? Because that ain't my fellow Americans. That's my fellow little crowd.
I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know, because I've been able to work with these mainstream Republicans.
I almost feel like I should make this section its own part, just him talking about these Republicans. Here's the thing. First off, he says extreme. What is extreme about them? He said extreme ideologies. Extreme ideologies? What? Living life normal where a man's a man, a woman's a woman, and we don't have this weird trans stuff. We don't have non-binary. We don't have teachers teaching, not teaching, but teachers talking about their sex life to kindergarteners. We don't have drag queens in preschools. Like, what is extreme about that to not have that? You guys are the extreme. The left, the Democrats, you guys are ridiculously extreme. Like, how... What is happening? What kind of a weird, crazy world are we in that normalcy and the way of life up until about 17 minutes ago is considered extreme? And now this weird, crazy world where anything can go, no laws, no anything is normal? Second off, you said not all Republicans are MAGA. Okay, that's true. But you're saying that the MAGA crowd is a small percentage. Again, let me remind you, Trump got 76 million votes. So you could say there's 76 million Americans that are MAGA. And that's the ones that actually voted. Think about all the people who didn't vote, whether it's because they're not registered or they just didn't want to vote. Me, I am a registered Republican, but I didn't vote because I don't have time for that. I feel like that's stupid. I'm not going to stand in a line to cast a ballot that's most likely not going to matter in the grand scheme of things because of electoral college, because of other votes. Unfortunately for me as well, I live in a blue state, so it's like, is my red vote really going to matter? No. So, that's why I don't vote. But you got me, you could say I'm MAGA, and then you got my mom, you could say she's MAGA, but why? But does she count? No, she's not even registered. So obviously she's not voting, so that's 2 more right there, and that's just me. There's probably millions of other people in the same situation as me, whether they're registered or not, that just don't vote because they don't want to, or they're not registered, But yeah. So there's 76 million that are registered and are most likely MAGA. I mean, I guess you could say some of those are votes that were just because it's Republican and they're just diehard Republicans and they're like, well, I don't really support Trump, but he's the Republican option, so. But, we can at least say a good chunk of those people, let's say 40 million of them, half of them, are definitely MAGA. You're saying that's a small portion? Let's put it this way. Way less people died of COVID than there are MAGA Republicans. And yet you treated COVID like it was such a giant, massive, scary, terrible thing. So if about 1 million is big and scary, then 40 million should be extremely massive and extremely terrifying. But you call them a small sliver? Okay. The other thing is you said, oh, I've worked with Republicans and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know what the Republicans are that you work with? It's the rhinos. It's like Mitt Romney and Liz Cheney. You ain't working with real ones. You're working with the rhinos who are like, yeah, okay, whatever. I guess I'll just go with the flow. What do you want? Okay, I'll do it. Like, try working with a real one. Yeah, you don't have rapport with the real ones because they're real. Like Ted Cruz, you ain't got no rapport with him. You wouldn't have any rapport with DeSantis. You wouldn't have any rapport with Greg Abbott. You wouldn't have any rapport with me. You wouldn't have any rapport with who else? Any of the real ones. Rand Paul. So, yeah, like, keep it in perspective, bro. I don't even want to call you bro. You're an idiot and you're a creep. Anyways, I hate to do this, but God, I'm only 3 minutes in, and this is my portion of adding commentary and such is already very long. There's a lot more I want to say. I have watched this thing, unfortunately, twice. Why? Because the first time I just wanted to see what it was about, and then I started to have ideas, and I was like, oh my God, I can make a video on this. So then I went through again a second time to really hone in those ideas. And so, yeah, I know there's a lot more that I want to talk about. But, yeah, I'm going to have to do this in parts because otherwise this thing's going to be like a 6-hour video. So, yeah, thanks for checking out this much with me. Be sure to come back for part 2 and 3 and probably 4 as well.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to excuse me.
What must be what? What must be what? What must be what? What must be what?